Like, is all your personal information, right? Because the last thing you want to do too is misspell something, have an issue with running credit, get loan contracts signed wrong, they get re-signed, your customer maybe makes up an excuse, right? Go through it. Like, oh, Kessler, oh no, there's no T. Oh, sorry, let me get that fixed, right? Do it now before you get too far along. And again, proposal. So we're going to talk happy house, we're going to talk utility, we're going to talk bill review. Like, this starts to paint the overall picture of, yeah, what happens with the utility versus what happens with solar. I'm not going to go too far into it right now because I know Chris is going to dive deeper in a little bit. We talk about green facts here, but one thing I know Chris mentioned earlier in the week is this proposal will give an estimated home value increase figure. Obviously subject to change, but this is based on that Lawrence Livermore lab study that, again, Chris had told us earlier in the week. So we talk about that. Again, we're kind of setting the stage for what solar could look like, but here is what solar looks like on this house. So, then it's a good time to be able to transfer ownership. We're talking about design. We're talking about where panels are. Who quickly can tell me what azimuth this is on these panels?
90? No. Yeah, like 90? 181, 200?
Yeah, close. Yeah, right about 190, 200 probably. Yeah, because again, due east is 90, right? Due south is 180. And so this is a little bit west of due south. So yeah, 200 or so is right about correct. So that's, again, going to bias to midday, light afternoon sun, but that's going to have the most impact on. System size, production. So again, you guys can look through these and see there's that 8 kilowatt figure, but there's the kilowatt hour figure. There's our equipment, inverter. This is a nice graph to show month by month. So these black bars are the actual usage. Oops, I don't want to update it. Actual usage. So yeah, you kick on the AC, you use a bunch in the summer, and then it kind of tapers off. But the orange bar is solar production here. So it just shows a good overlay of you're making more power than you use, but here you're making less than you use, but you offset it earlier. So you could look at that as it looks over the year. We've got this designed for overall offset. We talk about payments. This one ends up being a little bit more expensive, but this one actually has batteries on it, so it's pretty expensive compared to what they're currently paying. Most quotes are going to look a lot better than that, but this one had a few batteries on it. Again, breezing through total cost, tax credits, process here involved, proposal details. But what I wanted to show, if I scroll back up slightly, you go through your pitch. Again, Chris will spend more time going through the proposal, but if somebody says, great, let's do this, what do we do? I'm going to be here right by my loan details, because again, most folks are going financing, but if I need to change anything, I don't know if my pop-up is showing here where it says select financing option.
Yes.
Okay, cool. If somebody ever wanted cash, we could easily go change it right here, but this is a pretty common loan program. This 25-year 1.98 is the interest rate, and FlexPay is the loan program that keeps the initial payment very low. Like in this case, it's only $107 a month for the first 18 months. And then after that, if they put that tax credit in, it'll settle in at $209 a month going forward. So good spot to be. But yeah, if they want to go forward, we just need to get them pre-qualified. And so, if I were to click this will pop out our credit app. And this is a soft credit pull. And so all the information's pre-filled. And again, why earlier we wanted to make sure that was spelled properly, because it's all going to pre-populate right off of what was entered above. And so really, if we know that's all correct, you're there with your homeowner. you want to make sure that they fill in any blank spaces. So, phone type, probably a mobile, right? But they need the last four of their social. They need their date of birth. We need the stated annual income for the household. They can fill in an occupation. Some of these are drop downs too. So like US citizen, I'm employed, I own my home. So like, obviously you can't do it if you're a renter, right? If it says not owned, it's going to kick you out. But do you own it and have a mortgage payment, or do you own it free and clear? And having spent several years in the lending side of the business, this is not something to just breeze by. Definitely make sure you ask, because this will, if you just put something on here like, they probably have a mortgage, right? You will probably mess up your credit check and could just jam up the whole process. So please take the 1 second to ask, hey, is the house paid off, or do you have a mortgage? Or, they're probably filling this out for you, right? Make sure that's filled out properly so your credit check doesn't get jammed up. And then home occupancy, like, is this your main home? Is it a secondary, like a beach house? Or is it an investment property? Like, hey, I got this thing rented out full time, or it's an Airbnb, whatever, right? So don't want to fill these out properly. You can easily add a co-app, like, I want my wife on this too, right? I can put her on there. Actually read these, check the boxes, pop a signature in here, save it and send it. And what's great, again, compared to the good old days, was that these are pretty much instant in, like 2 or 3 seconds. I just close that. I'm not going to run their credit, obviously, but in 2 or 3 seconds, it's going to spit you out a result, tell you if they're approved. It'll also email the homeowner with the results. And, if they're approved, this page will let you then move forward to be able to generate a contract. And so once you've got that credit approval done, to generate a contract, if you see my mouse, I'm up on the top right here. If I click this little hamburger menu, I can get down and we'll see right here, it says docs request. So if I were to click that, that will pull up. And what I end up doing, I'll tell you what these fields mean, but this request document, so it's going to be able to put together our installation contract. It could pull in utility contracts, and as well, naturally, we'd pull in our financing agreement here. And so this way, again, it makes it much easier to be able to pull your contract package together, get it all done through DocuSign, get your deal closed, and get moving with that appointment, get on to the next one. But we're also going to make sure we get our proper pictures and make sure we got all the information we need before we leave the house so we can get these deals moving as quick as possible. But for a document request, these fields, so we want to make sure, like name on utility bill. So like, in my case, I'm the only one on the utility bill. I'm going to put myself here, because that way it'll pop up any applicable utility documents correctly. But like, say it was my wife, right, for example, and I put her as a co-applicant. If she was on my electric bill as the only person, I'd put co-applicant. It's going to pop her name on that contract. So make sure you have that. You should have the bill by that point, so you would know whose name's on it. If they're both on there, just say homeowner, that's fine. Install partner, we're generally always going to be saying Titan Solar Power, unless you're up in Phoenix working in the SRP utility, you'd select that one. And the name is just your customer name, the utility account number, pull that off the bill, email, you've got that. Meter numbers also on the bill. That'd be their electric meter. Some utilities have both electric and gas service. Make sure you put the electric meter number on there. Otherwise, you're going to have to redo your document. So proper note taking and making sure that you get the right information in here is just going to save you a ton of time in the future. So take a few minutes, tell your customer, hey, just let me make sure all these numbers are right so you don't have to redo any work, right? That's fine. They'll like it. But once you fill it out, request docs, it's going to kick over. And usually they've been sending to you, the salesperson, to take a first look over. So you'll want to make sure that your device, you've got your email in there. Actually, Chris, we'll probably have it go to ours instead. And because what it's having us do is do a quick check on the document package, make sure everything looks good in there. And then once you sign it on your side, it'll kick out to the homeowner. They can sign them and get them done. So we'll confirm on that, but just know that someone from the company here needs to sign those before we get those out to the customer. But it's all a quick automated process. But I know I was flying through that. It is pretty straightforward. Any questions on this though, or did it all make good enough sense going through it?
Yeah, is the doc request, that's like the actual contract then?
Correct. Yeah. So that'd be the finance agreement, the install agreement, and utility documentation as well. Again, we get to that through clicking up here, clicking docs request. That gets back to the page that I was just looking at. And then if you ever get hung up on it, or there's an issue, whatever the case may be, it's usually pretty self-explanatory on here. It'll even pop up a box where you could call Good Leap. They're the financing company specifically. You could call them directly if something got crazy. But if in doubt, call your manager. They'll make sure you get it dialed in, get your deal done. If no other questions, I'll hand back to Chris.